Good morning. Let's come to the conclusion of chapter 1 on exponents. Our last lesson here will be on rational exponents. So the objective here would be for you to be able to apply the laws of rational exponents to simplify algebra expressions. Okay, recall that we have had the laws of exponents before. If you remember the first law, x to the m times x to the n, this is the product law, and we had here x to the m plus n. Here, m and n, the domain that we had before was m and n was element of natural numbers. For today, we will change these natural numbers so that we will expand the domain of m and n to the set of rational numbers. This rational number q here means that we now have for m and n the whole numbers and their negatives plus fractions in the form, let's say 1 over 2 is a terminating decimal, so this is a rational number. Also 1 over 3 is a repeating decimal, so this is also a rational number. So we will have now these kinds of exponents. So if we have this law number 1, the product law, then I can have here x to the 1/2 times x to negative 1/2 will follow this law, and I will have here x to the 1/2 plus negative 1/2, or this is x to the 0. Remember, from the definition of the zero exponent, x to the 0 is equal to 1, provided x is not equal to 0. That's how we apply that law. Then the next law that we had was the quotient law, x to the m over x to the n. And what we did here was just to subtract x m minus n. Example, if you have here x to the 2 over x to the 1/2, what you just have to do is follow that law still, but here we are dealing with not only whole numbers, but we have a fraction. So 2 minus 1/2 will give me x, LCD here is 2. This will be 4 minus 1, or this is x to the 3 over 2. So this is product law, this is quotient law, and the third law that we discussed was power of a power, which gave us x mn. Example, if we have here x to the negative 1/2 raised to the 1/3, I just have to multiply negative 1/2 and 1/3, and this will give me x to the negative 1/6. Of course, this is not in simplified form. By definition of negative exponent, we have 1 over x to the 1 over 6. Next law, that's a power of a product. X, y raised to the m equals x to the m, y to the n. So I might have here a product 2x to the negative 1/2 times y to the 1/3 raised to the 6, for example. I will now apply power of a product to each of these factors here. So I have here 2 to the 6 times x to the negative 1/2 raised to the 6 times y to the 1/3 raised to the 6. Simplifying this, we get 2 to the 6, negative 1/2 and 6. Applying the power of power, we get a negative 3. And this one will be 1/3 times 6 will give me a 2. Again, we have a negative exponent, so we apply the definition of a negative exponent here, and we actually have 2 to the 6 times 1 over x cubed times y squared. But we can further write this as 2 to the 6 y squared over x cubed by definition of division. If you want to rewrite 2 to the 6 in its whole number form, you can do that. Okay, so 2 to the 6 is 64 y squared over x cubed. The last law that we had before involves the power of a quotient. So we have a quotient, x to the y raised to the m will give me x to the m over y to the m. Here again, for example, I have here 3x to the negative 1/2 y to the 1/3 all over 9 x y to the squared raised to the negative 1, for example. We have an option to distribute this negative now to each of these factors here, or we can make simplifications inside, or I can make this positive by interchanging the numerator and the denominator. For example, I can make this positive and interchanging the whole numerator and the denominator. There's no change at all. It's just rewriting it. Now this one looks simpler now because this is a positive. So we'll just have to simplify what this will become of. In here, 9 over 3 is already a 3. And we have x on the numerator and x negative 1/2 on the denominator. So we bring this up, go up, will give me x1 minus negative 1/2. Okay? Times. The same thing is here. We get y to the 2 minus 1/3. Nothing is left on the denominator except 1. So we can now simplify this. And we have 3x to the 1 plus 1/2 will give me 3 over 2. And then 2 minus 1/3 will give me 5 over 3. This leaves us with 3 times x to the 3/2 times y to the 5/3 as the simplified form of this one. Let's have some exercises.